This is such a happy time of the year. Just about the end of the semester, you already have a speech to inform and a speech to persuade under your belt. And now I get to talk about one of my favorite goals, which is a speech to entertain. Now, if you're freaking out about this goal, just remember it's a normal speech, just like an informative or a persuasive speech. I mean, the structure is identical. But if your instructor assigned a speech to entertain for you to do in your public speaking class, you're actually lucky. Speaking to entertain is right there along with informing and persuading as one of the major goals of a public speech. Yet very few people actually took the time to write more than a paragraph about it in their public speaking textbooks. My big contribution to this field of public speaking back in 2007 was to change that. I've always wanted to have my name in the belly of a penguin. But I just really enjoyed getting to write this short 15-page chapter, which I've linked for you in this overview as something you can just skim. But again, it's a normal speech. It's just like an informative or persuasive. The structure is identical. The difference is you're picking a topic that is kind of funny on its own, or you're even picking a serious topic where you want to use humor to go ahead and make a serious point. On the informative side, I've actually had students pick lighter topics such as the bromance topic. Years ago, I had these two male students who were on the rugby team together at the University of San Francisco, and they were in a very serious so-called bromantic relationship. And the 3 points that this person used were, first, how you can tell if you're actually falling into a bromantic relationship, and second, what are some things you can do to deal with the reactions to people, your bromantic relationship? And then the third point was what you can do when you realize your bromantic relationship is coming to an end. Or I actually had someone research chapstick addiction, which is kind of a lighter topic for a real informative research-based speech, but you could turn it into a speech to entertain and talk about things like signs. How can you tell if you're addicted to lip balm? And it's obviously a less serious topic, but it kind of lends itself to humor. On the persuasive side, when recreational marijuana was before it was actually made legal, I had a student do a great speech talking about what would happen in this world if recreational marijuana is actually made legal. And I believe there are 3 points where first they talked about the 5 stages that you go through apparently when you smoke pot. I didn't know there were 5 stages. Then talking about how society's rules would have to change, and then how fairy tales and nursery rhymes would have to change so that they made more sense. That was kind of bizarre. But it was so funny because in this particular speech, her first statement was, now I, for one, have never smoked marijuana, but my credible sources that I found hanging out in the parking lot next to the library, well, here's what they told me. So it was kind of funny because in a speech to entertain, your sources are still there, but they can also be done for their entertainment value. So her first source was she was actually quoting potheads in the parking lot, ironically next to the library, and that counted as a source. So you can actually have a really good time mixing your sources, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But one of the biggest things people freak out about is that, first of all, remember, it is a normal speech. The structure is identical. And so you don't have to worry. But if you really believe you're not funny, that's actually one of the first things I address in my cute little penguin chapter. God, I love this penguin. I love this guy. And it's interesting because a lot of people think they're not funny. Fine, take a topic that's funny on its own. I've had a lot of people just kind of, getting advice from their friends, from their families, but again, just think of it kind of as a funny informative, and the structure is the same. So throughout these next 2 weeks, this is just a little overview that it can be really fun. Next week, we're going to talk about ways to generate humor. There's so many different ways to do that. There's always one that works for you, and of course, those that don't. And then we're going to talk about ways in which you can cite your sources in a speech to entertain and the three major different types of supporting material. But just kind of come into it with an open mind. It really is a lot of fun, and boy, are they fun to listen to.